Hi, my name is Jason and I'm an English teacher from Toronto, Canada. Today, we're going to talk about the differences that articles can make. For non-native speakers, articles might seem quite insignificant. In many languages, they don't even exist. But in English, they're very much a vital part of the language. And when you're a non-native speaker, usually that's the first thing that native speakers will notice about the way you speak. We will notice that you might not use articles, and this will change maybe the music of the language, and we can tell that English is maybe your second language. But they are very important, and I'll give you some examples of how they work. The first example is with the word man. Now, the word man can mean several things. First of all, without an article, we often use this to maybe make a kind of expression. It's kind of like a filler word, but we use it to emphasize something. Maybe if it's a warm day, we might say, "Man, it's hot outside." Or maybe we saw a good movie with a friend. We might say, "That was a pretty good movie, man." Something like that would be how we could use man as an expression with no article. Another way we can use man is with the article a. If we say a man, this just describes a regular human person who is male. So, I saw a man on the street today wearing a funny hat. So, a very simple use of this word. If we change it though and add the article the man, this is kind of a slang expression that means someone is in charge, they are responsible, they are like the boss. We could say, Dave, he's the man. He knows what's going on. Or maybe we could say, John is the man that you need to talk to if you want to know anything about cameras. So again, a very specific man, usually the one in charge or who knows the most. The second word I want to talk about is the name John. Now, John is a very common name in English and probably the most common male name. You might even have a friend named John. So without an article, John is really a simple name, and that's all we use it for. But when you start to add some articles, the meaning changes. So if we add the article a to say a John is actually an official word that means a man that was caught paying for a prostitute. So you might read a news story in some countries where this is illegal that a John was arrested last night in one district of your city. So it's used quite a lot for this use. If we add the word the article to say the John, this is kind of slang to mean the toilet. So if you're at a bar with your friends, one of your friends might say, "I need to use the John," or "I'm going to use the John, I'll be back in 5 minutes." So again, that really changes the meaning significantly. So it's important to note these articles with the word John. The third example I have for you, this is a very popular example because it involves a very common swear word, shit. So this word can mean a lot of different things actually, and sometimes I advise my students to be very careful about using swear words in English simply because the grammar around them is very complex and it can really change the meaning. So in this sense, this word shit can be used as an expression when something goes wrong. So you might say, "Shit, I can't believe my friend didn't show up today." You might be angry, and this is how you can use this expression. We can add an article, a shit. Now that's very specific, and this describes something you might find in a toilet or a bathroom. So this is something that you might hear people use sometimes. And then the third way is with the article the shit. And in fact, this actually has a very opposite meaning. This means that someone is really cool, or they're the best, or even a product is really cool or the best. You could say, "That movie was the shit," and that means it was a really cool movie or the best movie you've seen. So you can notice how you have to be very careful with articles and some of these swear words. And finally, I want to talk about the article the and how we can use this in a very special way. Now, a big difference between articles, if you don't already know, is that usually we use no article when we talk about something in general, something like maybe wealth, poverty, pollution, these kinds of topics. We use the article a when we want to talk about one of many, so not a specific one, but one that exists. Like maybe I want to buy a car. It doesn't matter which one, it's just one of many. We use the when we're talking about a specific thing, usually something we both know. So, I want to buy the car that I saw at the dealership yesterday. So, that kind of specific thing. So, the is used to indicate that something is specific, that we both know about it. And we can use this with famous people as well. So, a lot of people, like in any language, have similar names. Maybe there's a famous person like Bill Gates. Now, Bill Gates is very famous, but again, his name is very common, so many people might have the name Bill Gates. So if I told my friend that I saw Bill Gates today walking down the street, my friend might be very surprised and he might want to check if it's the one we both know. So he might say, "Did you see the Bill Gates?" And I could say, "No, he was just an ordinary guy with the name Bill Gates." So the Bill Gates is the one we both know, the one who's very famous. So that's a good example of how we can use the to talk about something very specific that we both know. And to conclude, I just want to say that articles are extremely hard, and this might be the most difficult problem you have in English. And don't be discouraged if you don't do very well with them or you have a hard time learning them, but be aware of the differences they can create. So there's a few examples I've shown you today, but there are many more. So try to listen for them, try to learn about them, but don't be too discouraged if you have difficulty with these. And that's it from me today. Don't forget to subscribe to the link below, and I will see you next time.